All right, we have Traevon Jackson back on the show for his third appearance, and I'm really I'm very thankful for all Traevon has done to get the show off the ground. He's giving me some good wisdom. Yeah, solid guy who just started his own podcast. TJ, you talk about what you're up to right now and the new podcast you just released.
Yeah, man, this is called Life After Death. It's a transition and a journey of an ex-athlete into the real world. Basically just detailing these last 3-4 years, what it's been like for me since I stopped playing, what that journey's been like. I've been transitioned fully in the media now, doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but now I'm getting pushed to do more things in front of the camera, content creation, skits, things like that. And shout out to Dr. Anthony Roman, who has been helping me throughout this process. I actually work with the company, and part of the requirements on working with the company in my position is to detail what the journey has been like for me and then explain, okay, you were going through a mental rebirth process. What does that look like? How was it throughout this time, and how has it been for you implementing this thing? So got a lot of great topics, and I talked about, what really happened in the Final Four, how that was, my first year playing pro, the draft process, thinking it up in Summer League, getting my first 9-to-5, like a real 9-to-5, while riding a moped, calling off a marriage and a wedding, what it's been like becoming a father, like all type of things. So just real life topics and just being vulnerable. So I'm excited. Check it out on T_Jackson on YouTube. You can see more information on that.
Yeah, no, and I'll throw it down.
Shout out, Matty Ice. Let's go, Matty Ice. I appreciate it.
No, I'll throw it down. I'll throw the link down in the description. And yeah, you just started this, but yeah. T-Jax has a gift for storytelling, and that is a true gift. I've always been a big storytelling guy, and T-Jax is a good speaker. He speaks incredibly. I think these stories are really interesting because I was always like from afar. I would try keeping up with your career as a fan. I was like, why is T-Jax joining in January? Why wasn't he there in the start? And what was your mindset coming back from, breaking your foot and then being thrust against all these fantastic competition on the biggest of stage? Like, what effect did that have on you mentally? The Summer League, the draft process. T-Jax was basically out here doing Navy SEAL training from the dawn, and yeah, dude, it's impressive. I highly recommend. It's fun storytelling. It's really cool. T-Jax is a really interesting guy. So check it out. But yeah, we'll get into the Badgers here this year, the current Badgers, and T-Jax. Just give me your general thoughts on what you've seen from Wisconsin this year.
I think this is the most talented team since our 2014-15 team all around, like in depth. I think Johnny's years was great because it was so top heavy. You had Johnny, you had Brad, that was their support as well. Dimitrich's team, I think they were very similar to this team, except I think this team's a little bit more cohesive, more together. And then obviously Bronson and Nige, Ethan, that team was very talented as well. But I just don't remember a team being 10 deep. Obviously there's 15 guys on the team, 12, 15 guys, but I mean 10 guys that could possibly start on any other team since, probably our 2014-15 team. So very impressive. They took a big L last night, but other than that, they look really good.
Yeah, and I literally was going to ask you that. That if you thought this was the most talented team. I had that question written down because I see it, and I do think the ceiling is very high for this team. But yeah, Wisconsin, they just went 2-1 in the gauntlet against Marquette, Michigan State, Arizona. You got to take it. I mean, the Arizona game was it was brutal, but TJX, do you think this could end up being a good spot for Wisconsin where, yeah, you get some confidence beating two good teams and kind of handling them and bullying them to a certain extent, Marquette and Michigan State, handling those two teams, and then you get humbled a bit by Arizona. So you have some confidence from those two games, but you understand, hey, we still have a few things we can work on. Do you think that's a really good spot for them at this point of the year?
Yeah, definitely, because, you can't really go by rankings anymore because the rankings don't necessarily tell the whole story. The rankings don't tell the whole story till the end of the year because the teams that are like Arizona's they'll be so consistent till eventually they're raised to the top. So for them playing against Arizona, a team like a Tennessee where they're so versatile and they're able to play multiple different ways and they're just as big as Wisconsin, it made the Badgers actually get out of their comfort zone. The thing I would love to see them keep doing more continually is like simple things like pushing the ball in transition, because they already have such a a good offensive half court set and things like that. But like they actually have the athletes and the scoring ability to get easy buckets in transition, whether that be a layup, whether that be kick out for a shooting three, kick and shooting three, catch and shoot three, or even Chucky just being able to get in the lane and create. Like when I see them do that more, I'm like, man. And then play and then match up against teams like Arizona that can do that. That shows them what they're able to do. Arizona's just a little bit advanced at this stage in the season right now.
Yeah, and I do want to throw something out there. In 2007, 2008, Wisconsin lost 58-82 at Cameron Indoor to Duke. And that same team went on to be 31-5, won the Big Ten regular season title, won the conference tournament title, and lost to Davidson with Steph Curry in the Sweet 16 that year. But I mean, this definitely can be used as a learning tool. As you said,
that was Tuck's team. What was it? That was Tuck's team. That was Tuck.
The year after Tuck. Tucker's team wasn't losing to anybody by 20 plus. Tucker and Cam Taylor. It was the year after with Butch, Flowers, sophomore Traevon Hughes, and those guys. Marcus Landry. So, yeah, I feel the need to throw that out there because, as fans, as viewers, we get so high up and down after every single game, but it's a marathon, and you want to peak in March. You don't want to be peaking right now. Not that you don't want to just be running through everybody. You want to win every game, but you want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the year, and I think this team has what it takes, despite, Arizona is the better team right now. They look better, but by the end of the year, hopefully, if they run it back with Arizona, it can be a competitive game. And I tell you what, Arizona fans, I made some new friends. Before the game, I ruffled some feathers, but I ate some crow, and it seems like we're on a good note right now. But it was fun interacting with them. But yeah, Arizona to me looks like the best team in the country, and yeah, Wisconsin now gets to kind of cruise. They have two mid majors who don't look like they're that much of a threat to pull off an upset, and then they have Iowa, which I think Wisconsin's too big, too good for Iowa. So they. How
about that arena though, real quick? How about that arena? That arena looked electric that they was playing in last night. Oh my goodness!
Night and day.
There's nothing out there in Tucson. There ain't nothing out there in Tucson besides the university. So it's like like that'd have been. Oh my goodness! Like if the Kohl Center can get like that, that'd just be hard to beat at home. Like
Kohl Center's too old, man. Kohl Center's too old. You get yelled at if you stand up. I have so many stories from people just got yelled at, like former players getting yelled at for standing up. Like it's
like from other fans and stuff.
From other fans, yes. It's like church,
man. But
you stand when you're supposed to.
No, you're right, because it depends on the game though. Because if it's like a night game, like a big night game, crowd is all into it. But if it's just like a regular season game, then you can definitely hear a pin drop, which is weird because it's packed. It's 18,000
it's packed.
But they're just, the things that you hear are the claps, and then you hear if it's a turnover or something, it's a collective.
Yes. No, Badger fans need to be like more like they're like, I don't know. It's like they're too. I feel like other fans are so biased where their team never makes a mistake and stuff like that. But you go to the Kohl Center and the shot clock's winding down. You hear gasps. You hear the groans. It's just like sometimes it can be a home court disadvantage. In all honesty, and what a lot of people don't realize back in your days was your team had a big culture shift, a big mental shift for you guys to go on those Final Four runs, and you played a big role in that. Instead of like saying, "Hey, let's go chase this Big Ten championship." It's like, no, let's chase this national championship. I love that story where, you told on one of your podcasts where it was, Zach Bohannon said, okay, on 3, it's going to be Big Ten champs. And you're like, no, not Big Ten champs, national champs. You wanted to think bigger. You had you had to shift your perspective and the culture shifted, the energy changed. As a fan, you could just see the energy shift from 12-13 to 13-14. Like it seemed like more like military style, like 12-13 to 13-14. You guys are having fun, smiling, playing great basketball. What would be your advice to this year's team on how to break through and reach their full potential, how to get that vibe going where they can accomplish some big things and open their mind up a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what you said. I mean, the blueprint is there. It's like the thing is with Gard is going to know how to win in his way, in a very structured, disciplined way. And the thing I appreciate about Gard is that if you go out there and you prove that you can play, then you're going to play. You know what I mean? He's going to give you growth and leeway. But the issue is when the players start thinking like, the biggest advice I can give to them, or a recommendation rather, because they got to accept my advice before I can give it to them. But I recommend, like, look, y'all got to stop looking over your shoulder. Like, I can still tell Chucky, for instance, or AJ at times even. And shout out to AJ too, because I don't think Wisconsin's ever had a wing of his caliber. A true wing. Now, Johnny was a 2. I'm talking about Alondo was a 4, like a real 2, 3, 6, 6. We had Rob Wilson, but Rob kind of came on late. Rob didn't play as much as well too, but like we never had that. But anyways, we have that talent. You can't think about, if I make this mistake, I'm gonna get taken out. And you can tell at certain times they're thinking that. This is why I like John Blackwell. He hasn't been programmed. He's just coming in free. It's like Connor Essegian. You can tell he's kind of like he's got all the talent in the world, but you can tell that programming of like, I gotta miss this, then I'm gonna get like, just you have to go let it out there and play. And who cares if you make a mistake? Because if you make the mistake, aggressive mistake, it's different than being a timid mistake. And coach understands that. They understand that. They really should. Like, it took me a while to understand with Coach Ryan. There's a difference between making an aggressive, I'm trying to make a play, and then you just happen to turn the ball over, you miss a shot, right? Coach, like, okay, we understand that. But it's you seem timid and you seem like you. That's the part where, like, what's his last name? Nolan's last name?
Winter.
Nolan. Like, they are coming in with the freedom and they're open to it, to play in that next level. It's up to Chucky. It's up to Max. It's up to Steve Krause. It's up to them to embrace that and cultivate that and open that up. If they do those things, we've seen a little bit what they did, and look what they look like. Nobody can stop them. So if they do that and they're all attendee, like it's a wrap.
Yeah, no, I like it. Blackwell hasn't had that matrix programming yet, man. He escaped the matrix.
It's that programming is real though, and it's not a. The thing is it's a shock because you got to understand it from coach's perspective. From a coaching staff, and not just Coach Gard, but a coaching staff. Like, they get paid to win. So they're going to do everything that they can to make sure that they get the highest percentage to win. You didn't get scholarship for that. You got a scholarship for being you. So if you stop being you and you try to start conforming to, okay, this programming, this is how, learn the programming and then implement your game within the system and be free in that. That's why you see John Blackwell do so well, because, okay, I see how this offense that we're running, this is swing offense type, where ball swings around, not the old swing, but like swing concepts. Okay, I'm going to take this baseline on this, I'm going to reject the screen. He does that a lot.
Yeah.
I understand the system, but I'm still going to be me. I'm going to get to my pull-up. I'm going to get to, you see what I'm saying? AJ, same thing with him. And it's like, if they all can do that as a team collectively and have that confidence together, then they'll be able to thrive, get to that next level, and reach the goals that they're trying to reach.
Yeah, but it's so that's got to be hard. That's got to be hard to just going back to looking over the shoulder. Like, I grew up watching so much Bo Ryan, now Greg Gard basketball that I coach 8th graders, and it's like someone makes a mistake and I'm finding someone, I'm throwing him out there like right away. Like, it's a good reminder.
Don't do it. Let him play.
I know. I'm working on it. So it's a good reminder for me when I see a Badger make a mistake, and I'm like, no, don't take him out. Don't take him out. He knows what he did. He knows what he did, and they take him out. And it's like, it's a good reminder for me as a a relatively new coach. It's like, hey, you gotta have patience, especially at the 8th grade level. But for Essegian, man, he's kind of in that. I love the Rob Wilson. Dude, I love the Rob Wilson reference. Rob, I loved his game. I wish they could have handled his situation much better than they did. because he brought some things to the table that Wisconsin didn't have on those teams. And you saw it. I mean, if people can say a 30-point game's a fluke, he was playing really well at the end of the year, but 20 is a fluke. 30 is no fluke. To get the 30, you have to have some game, man. Like that. I always thought that Rob could bring more to the table, and I feel like Essegian's in a very similar boat. Luckily, he's only a sophomore. There's time, and hopefully, with the NIL, hopefully for the Badgers, they can keep him around. I mean, they can keep him around.
That's what I was about to say, bro. I hope. I don't know, though. I'm not confident, bro. And I'm not going to speak anything on here acting like or, insinuate anything. Like, I don't know. I don't know the dude. I'm looking from the outside looking in, but, like, you got to see from his angle. What did he average last year? Double figures at least.
All freshman team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, so it was all freshman team, and now because of a back injury to start the year, he's not starting, and he's not playing. I don't know if he was in the starting lineup before, but like he started last year to finish out.
Yeah, he started last year from like New Year's on, and yeah.
Yep. So I mean, it's like. The issue that's tough is like, okay, if you start him and you don't start Max is kind of like the glue guy. Wisconsin's always had a glue guy on the court, whether it be, Tim Jarmusz, whether it be Josh, whether it be Josh Gasser, whether it be Brad Davison, like a guy that can do everything, right? They've always had that. And Max has kind of filled that position for them. And it's like, but at the same time, you got such an electric scorer with Connor who can get hot quickly. Like all he needs is to get hot, but it's tough because it's like, if he's not hitting, then now he's only playing 8 minutes a game and 7 minutes a game. And it's like, that is kind of tough. So I think Gard's in a tough position there. And I don't know if he's going to have to make a choice to either, completely remove him out of the rotation or, let him go, because it's like now he's I feel like he's wasting a year, and it's tough. He's learning a lot mentally. You're going to learn through these things, but like, it's tough. And I wouldn't be surprised if, he ended up dipping, but I wouldn't want him to, but obviously that's selfish on my end. I just want to see him, help the Wisconsin win. But if he did, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. What's your thought? What you think?
I know this for a fact. I'm not going to act like I'm super connected, but I know this for a fact. He turned down a lot of money to stay at Wisconsin. And he came back, and now he's averaging, less than 10 minutes a game, 5 minutes a game, and, he's shooting 21% from three. I mean, I'm not optimistic that he comes back either, especially, I mean, Storr has the potential. I think Storr will play in the NBA, and he has a good shot. So if Storr shoots well the rest of the year, let's hypothetically say he's off to a slow start from three right now, shooting 29%. But he flashed his ability against Michigan State. And last year he shot 40% from three. If Storr raises that up to 36, 37%, Storr could go, easily could go. And Blackwell, I imagine, will be back. You never know with the portal and everything. And poaching and all this stuff that goes on today, but
he'll be back. John will be back. That's why he's playing him a lot. I gotta give Gard credit. Gard's changing his philosophy with this NIL. He ain't never played this many freshmen like that. But he has to, because he knows these dudes is going to leave. But go ahead. I didn't cut you off. But I think he'll be back though.
Yeah, I think Blackwell will be back, but Storr, it depends on how he shoots the rest of the year, because he can put himself in position to go to the NBA. If he comes back next year, though, he could be really dangerous. But for Wisconsin,
I think he should leave. Honestly, I mean, AJ, if you out there listening to me, bro, do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Keep putting up the numbers, but more importantly, put up the numbers and win. I'm not saying selfish. Like, he's a dude that you can't. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts, Matt. You know what I mean?
Wait. Hold on. I'm getting a call here.
Okay.
Oh, it's the board at the W Club. I think you got booted for that comment.
I thought you really had a call. That was a good one. But look, no, bro. Look, tell me your thoughts, right? Because the thing I always hear the announcer say is just so annoying. Is like they're trying to get AJ to learn how to play the game and settle him down. And
I would stop saying that. I would stop saying that.
Because you you're thinking about him developing for this game. Like I'm thinking about him long term. He's going to learn. The reason why I think it's great for him to be here because he's going to learn basketball at Wisconsin. Like truly learn the game. You can tell he's just raw and natural with a lot of his stuff that he does. But you gotta let some of that go because there's nobody else in the team that can do what he does. The closest is John Blackwell.
Yeah,
like that's the closest. But for AJ to be able to like be free and that's going to help them be their best. If he's not like that, like look at him playing against Michigan State. Look at him playing against Marquette. Like he can get 8 to 10 quickly. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like you need that explosive scoring power because we all know that throughout the history and throughout the situations of the offense, there's droughts. If the bigs aren't finishing, because we're going to go into the bigs, and if they pound 5, 6, 7 dribbles in, there's nothing there. You got to be able to have somebody create besides just Chucky. And now Chucky looks like next level playing against who they play against in the championship down in Florida. Now he looks like
SMU.
Now he looks like All-American because now I'm not pressured to make every single play because I got other guys that can do this. I can close. So if they have AJ be the guy that leads them throughout the first half, second half, get the ball in the crowd, you know what I mean? Let Chucky be able to finish, have other guys implement. They're a dangerous team. But if you hold that in and he's got to corral him and he's not, no, man, like let the dude hoop. That's what he's here for.
Yeah.
What you think, though?
What I think is, Storr, gosh, I love his game. I love his mannerisms on the court. I love he's just level-headed on the court. You know, you got
very level-headed.
Like him and Crowell are just hitting a combined 8 threes, and they're just like, you know, just level-headed, like they've been there before. So no, I think he's got, but his game itself, 40-inch vertical, one of the best athletes in Wisconsin history. He can put the ball in the hoop.
They've never had one like him, man. They never had a wing.
You'd have to go to Finley.
AJ.
You have to go to Finley.
That's the last one. That's the last one.
Yeah.
And Mike played in when? 96?
Probably no, that sounds that's cool. That's tough to remember. I think a little before that, years. Like 94.
Yeah, so 20-some years that he's so like you have to let him go because what I'm looking at it is bro, this can set you up now for the future. If I'm Gard, I'm set up for the future now because I let this wing go. You already know why AJ came because I seen what Johnny could do and I see where Johnny's at. You know what I mean? So if AJ keeps – now you're opening up continual recruits for wings to be able to say, I can thrive there. And we all know in order to win in March, you got to have guard play. Yeah. I don't care how good your bigs are. This is why Purdue can be number 1 in the country all they want. Until they guards start doing what they need to do, they're not going to win. You know, you go back year after year after year after year, teams that win have great guard play, whether it be from the wing or whether it be from the point guard. So if they let that dude go, it's a wrap, Matty Ice. Yeah. Me and you talking about, hey, I'll meet you down at the Final Four. Like, that's what we're doing.
Yes, sir. No, that's – yeah, so for coming back next year for Storr,
no.
I mean, it's not the same thing as it was when you were there. well,
no.
It depends on what what if his 3-point percentage is 30% at the end of the year, or he could come back next year.
What does he have to gain? Think about it.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Okay, tell me.
Frank Kaminsky went from. He had a great junior year. He popped off in the tournament, and then he was a lottery pick. Instead of being late first, early second, he was a lottery pick. He had so much fun. That's your senior year, and he got to win National Player of the Year. Storr could compete for National Player of the Year if he comes back. He's gonna make. I don't know how much money he'll make. He'll make a lot of money coming back. So it's not like Frank though. Like Frank Kaminsky when he came back, he wasn't making money. Storr will make at least 6 figures. I mean, who else knows? I mean, the donors will buy him a beautiful condo and get him a car and cash and everything. So financially, it's not the worst decision in the world to come back. And then he could settle. I mean, who knows? Maybe he finishes the season, rest of the year hot, and he could still be a first-round pick if he shoots well from 3. But I'm saying if he doesn't shoot well from three, I don't think it's the worst move in the world in 2024 to come on back. But because I don't think what happened to Nigel Hayes could happen to Storr. Not Storr's athleticism is too different to Nigel Hayes. Nigel, well, I mean, Nigel's your good friend, but he shot 40% from three as a sophomore, changed his form, and shot less than 30% in his last 2 years.
But that same form is helping him be a all EuroLeague guy right now.
Yeah, you know I mean? I understand, but Storr's got a 40-inch vertical. Hey, well, there's like a 13-inch vertical difference between Storr and Hayes. I'm not trying to rip
Nige ain't that bad. No, Nige can go.
Nige has a wingspan. He has a 7'4" wingspan.
But Nige just had a different position. So look at this. So let me see, because I'm trying to see how Johnny started off the year. All right, so Johnny had 15, 21, 30, 20, 15, 25, 23, 24, 20, 37, 26. All right. He was balling from the jump. The difference was Johnny didn't have 9 deep on the team. So AJ's 15 is a higher equivalent than an average 15. It's a different type of 15. All right. Now, if he goes on and he dominates throughout the Big Ten and dominates throughout March, and making a big
run,
I
agree. Leave then.
He's got to leave. I don't care about your 3-point percentage, because the thing is, it's not about the 30.
Now that I'm thinking about it, TJ, sorry to cut you off, but now I think about it, I'm kind of beating my own point. Johnny was a lottery pick, and he shot 30% from three. So
it's because you can tell if a dude can shoot or not.
Storr can shoot.
You can tell he can shoot by his form, by like his fluid. Everything 90% is good. It's just everything is good. It's just the reason why he's not getting. He don't really get too many catch and shoot. He get a few catch and shoots, but a lot of his stuff is coming off that top pick and roll from the wing, and the dude will go under and he'll shoot at the top of the key, right? And off the dribble, that's actually a good shot in the league. Now, the reason why I'm saying that, and why is that important to their success now as a team? The reason why it's important for their success as a team is because the more dynamic he can be, the more open it opens up the floor for everyone else to be free.
Yeah.
They're not going to win with a focus and a priority with just throwing it into the big crowd, because the way the game is set up now. Now, I'm not saying that they can't. It's not possible. I'm saying we seen what they did last year when that was the focal point.
Yeah.
It's not going to – crowd can hoop too. I love his game. He got game. But if you add both of them, it's a wrap. Now you're looking at – and then now he leaves, Gard, you're going to get another wing, whether that be somebody else that you recruit or somebody else from the portal that says, I want to do that. And now you created a cycle. Now this becomes PGU and wing U, big U, whatever. So that's the thing.
Yeah, and part of it's a bias. Like I love Storr's game. I don't want him to leave, man. I'm having fun watching him play, and I mean, but now on the flip side, I mean, Storr, whatever. It's early in the year. He was a 40% 3-point shooter last year. Storr's a good shooter, and I think he will raise it up. But you look back at Johnny. I mean, he was a lottery pick, and Storr and him are two different. I actually think Storr might translate a little bit better than Johnny. But Storr, Johnny, kind of on a different note, Johnny's got his lottery pick money. Yeah. He stayed in, but his ball handling and his shooting, those were kind of his flaws, and that's getting exposed at the next level right now, unfortunately, where I think that he was so athletic in college. He can get to the hoop, get to his mid-range at will, but it's a little harder to do that.
The league is different, bro. Them dudes is 6'9" versus 6'4". Johnny's a good 6'4", probably maybe touching 6'5", but like thing with AJ legit 6'6", and that's a different length and a different explosion, different pop. And Johnny got game, but it's hard to play the wing. Like, just think about it. Historically in the league, you got Donovan Mitchell, who's a shorter wing. You got nobody else. Who's the guy who's played for the Bulls? Ben Gordon.
Gordon?
Yeah, Monte Ellis. You don't have those guys anymore.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where Johnny kind of is in that role in the league. But AJ a little different, bro. Like the size, I
Yeah.
hate to put it that way, but it's like size.
Yeah. His vertical, man.
You
His
know what I
strength
mean?
and burst,
Dudes
it
is
is different.
them dudes is true deer out there in the league. Super
Yeah.
tall, athletic deer that just can run and jump and are 7 foot wing. Is different. It's just a different game.
Yeah.
Johnny be all right. Hopefully he'll be all right.
And kind of unrelated to Badgers, real quick, Purdue and Arizona actually play each other next week. And
Oh, nice.
based off of what we know from Purdue and Arizona, what do you think will happen in that matchup?
Where's the game at? Is it neutral?
I think it might be in Indy. It might be a
So
neutral site in Indy.
so
Purdue home
Purdue
game,
home game basically. Um, Man, Arizona's big, bro, and they can play both ways. As far as they can play a slow game, half court game, or they can play up and down. And Purdue, I haven't watched them enough. I know they got the guards, Fletcher Lawyer. They got the point guard that's pretty
Yeah.
decent too.
Yeah, Braden Smith.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, Zach Edey is big, but so is the dude. The dude
Yeah.
from Arizona, that dude huge. Like these dudes are big. Like Arizona really got a league lineup as far as their size. Besides Caleb Love at the two, even the point guard, he's an NBA size. You got I love Pelly Larson's game. Did I say his name right? Larson.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he hit like their size, and then the four, who is that played with San Diego State, like. I don't see too many teams. I see Arizona beating themselves throughout the year. I don't see too many teams beating them, honestly. I don't think they've lost yet, have they?
No.
Yeah, I don't see too many teams beating them. I mean, they'll probably – I wouldn't be surprised if they lost a game here and there. But, like, I don't see too many teams. They got a complete team. But that's always been Arizona. Arizona's always had that. We just had a complete team, too. Them dudes are strong as ever when we played them.
They were strong, man.
They were huge, tall, and run. Like, so I just think I'll go Arizona over Purdue in that
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to leave my prediction video for another video. But so Connor Essegian, he's kind of in, like we were saying before, a similar role to Rob Wilson, where it's just a tough spot. And as a shooter, I can't be easy. Where it's like, okay, you miss your first shot, you have probably 3 minutes to prove you're on, then you're going to get pulled out. What would be your advice for him just the rest of the season? Not even moving on to if he leaves or not, just this season.
I don't think you can take that. I don't think you can take that one either.
No. I would support it 100%. I would support it 100%. I mean, in today's day and age, I mean, if you got the portal, you might as well go somewhere where you can have a bigger role versus what's going on right now. But well, what's your advice for just the rest of this season?
The biggest thing he can do this year: stay in the gym, be prepared for your opportunity to come. That's all you can do. Get healthier and healthier every day, because the gym is where your confidence comes from, especially as a shooter. Get on that gun. They have a gun there, shooting gun. Shoot 300 makes a day minimum. Your good day is 500. You can make 300 makes a day in 20, 25 minutes, realistically, after practice, before practice. And what that's going to do is just the repetition is going to help his subconscious mind get to a level to where he's not thinking. Right now, you can tell he thinks. And when he doesn't think, he looks good, offensively. And he's going to just have to utilize the practice. The good thing about Gard is I know they still practice, which is actually good. He's going to have his opportunities to shine in practice. This is why he got in earlier against Arizona. Like, he did get in earlier than I've seen the games where he hasn't. Like, I think he got in right around the 15, 16-minute mark. Usually he was getting in around the 10-minute mark. So that's all you can do, and just ask and, pray for opportunities to be able to, like, showcase your skill. And then from there, just be prepared. So when your opportunities come, it's not on you. Like, you don't want it to be like, well, by the end of the year it comes and it's like, well, you got all these opportunities and you shot this. No. Yeah. When I have my opportunities, I maximize them. Now I keep my value up as a player. And now if I want to come back, look, I want to know what my role going to be, or if I go somewhere else, what's my role going to be? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's just the biggest thing for him is he got to treat it and be like a real professional and be a real pro about his game and understand it's it's only a fourth way of the season through. Probably what they only played 7 games, something like that, 7, 8 games,
They're what
9,
7-3 now. 7-3
7
now.
to 3. So they're a little over. They're about a third way through of the season because you're about 30 some games that you play if you make it to the to the tournament stuff like that. So which I believe they will. You just gotta stick to it. That's all you can do at this moment. Don't be feeling sorry for yourself. I get the situation you're in. I understand it, but hey, you can create your way out of it.
Yeah, and you got to give him a lot of credit. A lot of people would be sulking right now and having bad body language, and to an extent, understandably so. But the dude is out there as fired up as anyone on the bench, and he's been a great teammate. It takes some maturity for a sophomore in college, 19, 20 years old, to have that perspective. Okay. And TJ, only a few more questions for you. One is you made a Tim Jarmusz reference earlier in the podcast, and I want to ask you because this comparison has been made between Carter Gilmore and Tim Jarmusz. Who are you taking and why?
No. Tim could shoot. And this ain't nothing against Carter, but Tim had the Tim I remember that we was playing in open gyms was coming off the wing shooting. And I don't know his percentages, but Carter don't really shoot. Carter play more like a Draymond as far as I get the ball, pick and roll, I get the scrappy buckets, I'm gonna play great defense. And Carter got game. He's big. What is he like 6'9", 6'10"?
6'7", 6'8".
Okay, so yeah, Tim was about that size too. So now Tim might have went through slumps shooting wise, but Tim could shoot. You know more than me. Tim could shoot, couldn't he?
Yeah, he was a solid shooter. But I disagree with you 100%. I'm rocking with Gilly. I'm rocking with Gilly easily. One, Gilly's way stronger than Jarmusz, and it's not even really close. Like Gilly came in as a walk-on. He actually had an offer from DePaul. Gilmore was a walk-on. Yeah, and it's actually they're kind of similar in the sense where actually both guys were really talented high school players. Where if you watch Gilmore, the dude was a point forward. He could shoot. He could score. He was averaging I'm pretty sure close to 30 points per game. Gilmore is a guy where I think it's all mental for him. He has a lot more than anybody realizes. He can shoot. He can dribble. He can pass. We don't see it in the games, but I guarantee it's the same thing where in practice, Gilmore is hooping. Like Gilmore is knocking down those shots. Gilmore's putting the ball on the deck and doing a little fading mid-range game. Gilmore is better than anyone realizes. But just based off of who performs when the lights are on, I understand coming with Jarmusz, but I'll just take Gilmore's strength. Gilmore is literally a backup center in the Big Ten at 6'7" because he's that strong.
Well, but what if you put Carter, switch their positions, put Tim in this team now, and put Carter in that team then? You get different because Tim was in a different situation, different system. Everything was clogged. It was the old swing. It was no up and down. It was maybe 1 or 2 transition buckets at a time. So I gotta shoot. I guarantee.
That's an interesting point.
If you put Tim in today's game, in today's team, more of that will come out because back then Carter couldn't play the big because they had real bigs and John was your 4. I think where John was the 5. Keaton was your 4. Keaton was 6'10", 6'11" as a 4. So I like Carter's game though. Don't get it twisted.
No, I understand. The comparison's been made, and I think I love the Jarmusz. I love hearing names like Tim Jarmusz. I mean, and I enjoyed it when he was there, but yeah, just a little trip down memory lane.
So that's why for me. I used to play with over Jensen, so that's he was always cool, nice guy, real nice guy.
Yeah. All right, final question, T-Jax. What is the ceiling on this Badger team?
I think they can be a Sweet 16, Elite 8 type team. I think it would take a miracle for them to get to the Final Four. Do I think it's possible for them? I absolutely do. I do think it's possible for them, but that would take a lot of mental strength. That would take a lot of togetherness on their end, unity, where they're all in complete one accord to get to where they're trying to get to. So I say I wouldn't be surprised if they got to Sweet 16 or Elite Eight, one of those places. What you think?
All right. I mean, for me, that prediction is just so hard right now. Like
Yeah. Why you ask me then if it's hard? Why you ask me?
Exactly. I'm not. I'm the interviewer. You're the one getting interviewed. I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to come off as biased. The ceiling, I would say would be making the Final Four, no doubt. I think that's the ceiling. And who knows what happens when they get there.
I got that as like the upper ceiling. I got that as like the attic. The ceiling is like the attic. I think is okay. Final Four, but y'all gotta, you gotta climb on the ladder to get to the attic. Like, you gotta do some things.
Sure.
Like,
that's the ceiling, because outside of Arizona's the best team. I don't think there's a great team in college basketball. I think it's gonna be a wide open tournament. And I don't think Arizona is a team that can't be beat. They can beat themselves. So I think it's really anybody's tournament. The ceiling is there. They're in that Final Four weekend, and you see what happens there. I think they're a top 25 team easily. I really do. So. I think the rest of the year they're going to be a top 25 team, and it depends on their chemistry. It depends on a lot of things staying healthy. But yeah, they're the most talented team Greg Gard's had, and yeah, Sweet 16, Elite 8. I think that should be realistic goals this team should be trying to hit. And
here's a question I have for you, though. I know we got to bounce, but like, who's their leader? Who would you say is their guy that rallies them and that keeps them? I got somebody in mind, but
yeah, that's a great question. Okay, so the one I've seen a few videos where, like, before the game, the one guy who talks before the game, I saw is Kamari McGee.
Yeah,
he's the
I've
one who
seen
talks
that too
before the game.
Yeah.
And has a few words. I would say Tyler Wall would be my guess. Crowell's kind of, Wall would be my guess.
That's real that we went through this whole podcast without talking about T. Wall. Now, that's a talented team to have. If you're not talking about T. Wall, it's like, so T. Wall, that's who you're going with, Tyler Wall.
Yeah.
So I definitely seen Kamari McGee, and shout out to him for the minutes that he produces. I like him.
Yeah.
I like his style, his play. In order for them to reach that ceiling you're talking about, Chucky has to be the guy that I believe. Chucky has to be the guy that galvanizes the team in that manner. Why? Because he has the ball in his hands majority of the time, and he can dictate the flow of the game. Until he gets to the point where he looks at Gard and says, no, Gard, we're going to run this, and Gard says, okay, because Gard knows he's confident and knows what it – I don't know how far they're going to go. Because looking back on their teams, whenever they were great, even historically, when they had Johnny, when they were making big runs, Johnny would look over, and he might not have said nothing, but he was, all right, go do it. Like, right, go let him do it. You had Jordan Taylor. I had the ability to do that at some points in my career too. Bronson as well. I'm not sure if Dimitri ever got there, but, being able to have that coach-like guy on the floor that, hey, y'all, like, let's take it to the next level, they need that. And then their talent will take off. But right now, I just don't see that part of the team yet. I don't know. And because that person determines their identity. Like, what's their identity? I think they're very good, but really, what's their identity right now? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I think as they solidify that, they'll go forward.
I do have one interesting tidbit. A buddy of mine went to the games down at Fort Myers, and he got a good hookup that got him seats like pretty close to the Badger bench.
Oh, nice.
And Krabenhoff and Chucky Hepburn had a moment where, like, Chucky came over and Krabenhoff, like, was calling a play, and then Krabenhoff asked him, and my buddy heard this, and Krabenhoff was like, wait, is there anything you want to run? And then Chucky's like, yeah, I want to do this, and then Krabenhoff's like, okay, yeah, go run that. So like, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, Chucky, you're right. That's probably the best answer. It has to be the point guard. Chucky,
okay, but look, what game was it? Was it the championship game?
I don't know which game it was. I would guess yes.
Because look at what happened. That's proving my point is look what happened in that championship and look how he played and look how the team did. Everybody else ate. But then when it was time for them to close the game, Chucky was their closer. And now he has options to go to an AJ, a John, crowd and things. But like it takes they're gonna have to win through him being dynamic. And he has the ability to do it. He has the capability of being there. It's just can he do it? And will he do it?
Yeah. So, cool. Well, T-Jax, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you spending all this time with me. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, everyone, once again, I'll throw the link for T-Jax show in the descriptions. Go check that out. It's a great show. And looking forward to staying connected along the way.
Appreciate you, Matty. It's always good to see you, my man. Thanks for having me on.